Good morning children. I welcome you to a new class in physics today. In the previous class children, we had studied about plane mirrors and I had in fact drawn three ray diagrams for you and we studied them. One was the image of a point object which was placed in front of the plane mirror. The second was the image of an extended object which was placed in front of the plane mirror. And the third diagram was lateral inversion. So these three ray diagrams we had done last time, and in today's class children we are again going to pick up plane mirrors, but this time we are going to use a combination of mirrors. Combination of two plane mirrors placed at a particular angle. Now what happens when you take two plane mirrors and you place an object in between them, what happens is that the object forms an image in the first mirror and that image acts as an object for the second mirror, and so on and so forth. A multiple images, or you can say number of images are formed. So before, and also we are going to practice two important ray diagrams today. That is when the plane mirrors are placed parallel to each other, and the second one is when the plane mirrors are placed perpendicular to each other. But before I begin with the ray diagrams children, I would like you to focus on a special formula. Look here children, I have written and prepared the notes for it. Here we are going to study about images formed in two inclined mirrors, and the mirrors are the plane mirrors. What is the formula to find out the number of images children? The formula is number of images is denoted by small m, and the formula is n is equal to 360 upon theta, where theta refers to the angle between the two mirrors. It has following two cases, case 1 and case 2. In case 1, what happens is that the object which is placed in between the two plane mirrors is placed asymmetrically. How do we come to know whether the object is placed symmetrically or asymmetrically? Let me tell you that. When you substitute the angle, for example, I have considered an example of an angle, say 72 degrees. The two plane mirrors are placed at an angle of 72 degrees. Now what will happen? I will substitute the value of theta in this formula and I get 360 upon 72. What is my answer is 5. So 5 are the number of images formed. Now when the number of images formed is an odd number, can you see children? This is an odd number. So when the number of images formed is an odd number, it is understood that the object is placed asymmetrical. And that is the answer, that is the number of images formed is 5. Okay children, now we move on to case 2. In case 2, the object is placed symmetrically. Symmetrically, for example, if I consider the example that the two mirrors are placed at an angle of 60 degrees. When I substitute the value of theta as 60 degree, what do I get my answer? My answer is the number of images is equal to 6. 6 is my answer. Now here you can see children that the number of images formed is even. Now when such a case comes, where the number of images formed is even, it means that the object is placed symmetrically between the two mirrors. And therefore we do not consider that as our number of images, but we do one extra step, and that is number of images formed is equal to n minus 1 always. Remember children that when we get the answer as odd, that is the final answer for number of images formed. But when we get the number of images formed to be even, we use one more step for it, and that is n minus 1, that is equal to 6 minus 1, and 5 is the answer for the number of images formed. So children, just be very careful that when the object is placed asymmetrically and when the object is placed symmetrically, you should have the answer as an odd number in both the cases. If it is even, then you will do one extra step of n minus 1. Okay children? Small numericals could be asked based on this particular formula 360 upon theta, where you will be supposed to find out the number of images formed, and it will not carry more than 1 or 2 marks. Right children? Okay, now after this I move on to the first ray diagram, and that is when two plane mirrors are placed parallel to each other. I am going to erase this and I am going to start with the ray diagram children. I want you to sit with your paper, pencil, and you will draw the steps. As I teach you the steps, You will draw with me because this particular diagram is very complicated and I want you to draw with me step by step so that you have no problem. Okay children? So I am going to first of all draw the diagram of images formed okay, images formed in a pair of plane mirrors, and they are placed parallel to each other. They are placed parallel to each other. Right children, this is your heading. Now how to start the diagram? The first step, you will prepare a base. Okay, this is the base of the diagram and you will draw two parallel mirrors children. You will take two parallel mirrors, right, at a distance of say approximately, let me see, in your notebook you can keep them around say 7 to 8 centimeters away from each other. 7 to 8, not more than that. So you can see I have drawn two plane mirrors. They are facing each other, they are parallel to each other, and I am going to polish. See children, I am polishing the mirror. Okay, this is one and this is the other. Please draw with me children. Please draw each and every step with me. I have taken two plane mirrors parallel to each other. I told you the distance and you will draw the diagram children. Listen, you will not draw the diagram in this manner. No, you will draw the diagram in this manner. You will take the notebook and you will draw the diagram widthwise, breadthwise, not lengthwise, otherwise it will not fit. You will draw the diagram breadthwise. You will take two parallel mirrors at a distance of 6 to 7 centimeters away from each other, and you will take an object. Say the object is O. I have taken the object O, and remember this object should be not in the center, exactly in the center. Suppose if this is 6 centimeters, you will not take it at 3. You will take it a little away from this particular mirror. Let us name it as M dash. Or you can say it M1. This is mirror M and this is mirror M1. And I have taken the object a little far away from M1 and closer to M. Right? Did you understand? I hope you are following what I am saying. Now children, this is our object. I will take two rays. See children, I am taking two slanting rays starting from this particular object on the mirror M1. Okay, on the mirror M1. Now I will measure this distance children. I am going to measure this distance OM1. I am writing it here children for your reference. I will measure OM1, and on the other side I will take the same distance. OM1 I will take another, and I will, suppose if this distance is whatever distance, I will take that same distance and put a dot this side, and I will join these two images over here in dot. These two rays like this. Like this. Did you see? I have taken the two rays to meet here. And this distance should be, now let us name it as A. Okay. So what will I do? OM1 should be equal to M1A. M1A. Okay. So this you will draw children. Okay. And then you will take a scale and pull back these rays straight. Straight pull backs on the mirror like this. Right? So this is your image 1 actually. You have placed the object. This object forms an image here. Now this image children, this image forms an object for the second mirror. See, I took the object here, children. I have taken the object that forms an object for mirror M1. Now this A image which I am obtaining, okay, will form the object for mirror M. Okay, now what distance will I consider? Now I am going to consider this distance, children. That is MA. Now this MA should be equal to the other side, children. From here to here I measure the distance and I will mark a dot this side. This distance should be equal to this distance this side, and I will take a dot and I will join these rays here like this. Yes, like this. Did you understand, children? So this particular distance from MA should be equal to, say, MB. Should be equal to MB. Clear, children? So I have taken this and again I am going to pull them forward to fall on, and don't forget to put the arrows, children. Now what happens? Now this particular image is an object for the first mirror again, and finally what I am going to do, I am going to measure this M1B. M1B. M1B should be equal to, on the other side, I will take at the same distance as M1B, I will measure and take a point here, and I will make these rays meet at this particular point, like this, children, and further I am going to extend them like this. So M1B should be equal to M1C. Should be equal to M1C, and so on. So, children, if I want to find out the number of images, I will use the formula M is equal to 360, and you can see the value of theta in this case is 0. Why? Because the two angles are, the two plane mirrors are placed parallel to each other. The angle between them is 0. So, therefore, the number of images formed here is infinite images. Infinite images are formed in this particular case. Infinite. Okay, children. So once again, a very careful look at all the steps. Children, those who are left behind and those who are not able to draw the diagram with me, I want you to have a look again and draw. First of all, I take a platform on which I place the two plane mirrors parallel to each other, children. These two plane mirrors, one plane mirror is M and the other plane mirror is M1, and I polish them, right? Now what do I do? If they are placed at a distance of, say, 6 centimeters, I am not going to keep the object right in the center at 3. No, I am going to slightly shift the object more towards the first mirror. Now this particular object is O, right? Now this object, which is, say, taken at a distance of maybe say 4 centimeters, okay, from M1, I will take two slanting rays which fall on the mirror M1. So first of all, this object forms the object for M1. So two rays, and this distance OM1, on the other side I will measure that distance and put a dot A, and these two rays will meet at that point. You know what, if you remember, I told you the object distance should be equal to image distance. That's why I am measuring this. OM1 should be equal to M1A. See, I have written it. OM1 should be equal to M1A. This is for your reference, children, so that you should know how to draw. So when I put a dot here, I will join these rays and I pull them back straight. Right? Now these two rays, they fall on the mirror, and this particular A forms an object for M now, alternately. So A will be the object for M. Now I will measure AM, and on the other side I will put a dot for B, and these two rays will be produced to B, such that MA, you can see, is equal to distance MB, right? And the rays will meet there. After the rays meet here, what happens? I extend them forward so that they fall on M1, and this B will be the object for M1. A was the object for M. B is the object for M1. Okay, and then I will measure the distance M1B. M1B I will measure and I will put a dot on the other side at C, and I will produce or make them join at C and extend them forward. Okay children. So thus this will go on. It is not going to stop here children. Here you can see that there are 3 images. 1, 2, 3. This is not going to end because the number of images are infinite and we can only represent this on paper. That is why I have taken only 3 images. Otherwise the number of images formed is 360 upon theta. The value of theta is 0 and therefore the number of images formed will be infinite number of images. Clear children? So this happens when 2, and if the plane mirrors are extending further, that many images, multiple images would be formed. Please have a careful look, practice this diagram, and then we go to the next diagram, and that is images formed when the mirrors are placed perpendicular to each other. Perpendicular to each other children. I hope you have understood how to draw. I know it is a little difficult diagram, but you need to practice it. Okay. Now we move to the second diagram. I am erasing this. It is image formed when 2 plane mirrors are placed perpendicular. They are placed perpendicular to each other. That is our next diagram. So just have a look children, how am I drawing it. Images formed when images formed by 2 plane mirrors placed perpendicular to each other. This is our second diagram. Now in this what you will do children, you will take 2 plane mirrors and they will be placed at an angle of 90. Can you see the angle between them is 90 degree. That's why I said perpendicular. Right? Okay. Now for convenience sake, what am I going to do? Suppose if I am taking this as 5 centimeters and this as 5, on the other side another 5, down also. These are not, this is the way to draw the diagram. Okay, I will draw a square. I will draw a square, perfect square of 10 centimeters side and equally divided into 4 sections. 5, 5, 5, 5, all sides 5. But I will take only these 2 as my plane mirror. These 2 are the plane mirrors which are placed perpendicular. Right children? Now what am I going to do next? I will take an object here. Say the object is P. Now I take an object at one corner and I take 2 rays falling on the first mirror. Let us name the first mirror. Say it is A, this is O and this is B. So my first mirror is AO and these 2 rays are falling on this particular mirror. Okay. Now when they are falling on this mirror, what happens? This is how I draw the 2 dotted. This is the image. You can see if this is the object, here is the image and that is, suppose the image is P2. Okay. Now I extend these 2 rays. I extend these 2 rays with a scale to fall on the second mirror OB. See, this was the object whose image was formed here and this image becomes the object for the second mirror. This is the object, here is the image and this image becomes the object for the second mirror and I have drawn extended rays. Now where will they meet children? They are going to meet here children in this corner. Be very careful, use your scale properly to draw proper lines children. Okay, this is the next image which is you can take it as P3 and again I extend it to move out like this. So it should be straight pullbacks. Slightly the second one is not very straight. I have not used the scale actually. It should be straight pull back children like this. And here you can place your eye. Now this particular diagram actually One, you can see this is P2, this is P3. Actually there is one more image which is formed here, but P1, but that is not seen. Why is it not seen? Because these rays, they will form an image behind on the back of this particular thing. Or this is a I cannot show it to you in 3D. So there is one image which is formed behind, that is P1, that's not visible here on paper. The other image is P2 because these two rays, they meet at this point as well as they go behind also, extending. So that image is formed at P1. Then there is another image which is formed at P2. There is an image which is formed at P3, and behind on the other side there is an image which is formed P4. So total number of images, actually see, I will find out the form, I will use the formula. Number of images is 360 upon theta. Here it is 360 upon 90. You know the angle between is 90. So the number of images formed is actually 4. 4. How? This is the object. Image 1, image 2, image 3, and behind the image 3 on the other side behind is P4. But then as I told you that this number of images should not be even. So therefore the actual number of images is n minus 1, and that will be 4 minus 1, and that is equal to 3. 3 visible ones, 3 actual images, that is 1, 2 and 1 is P1 behind. But P4 no. Why? Because according to the formula which we are using, the number of images which are formed here would be 3. Okay children, so this is the diagram. Just have a careful look. This is the diagram which actually shows you the number of images which are formed when the plane mirrors are placed perpendicular to each other. And you have to be very, very careful while you draw. How do you begin? And remember one more point I would like to tell you. When you are taking two rays starting from the object, don't take the rays don't lower them till here. Because if you lower these rays till here, then the image, the rays which will fall over here will go out. We want that these two rays extended should fall on this mirror OB. So be very careful. These are a few tactics to get the diagram correctly. You will take the rays such that they will fall somewhere, not below particular area. They should be slightly above, and they meet at this point, extended, and again they meet at this, and you can see the images from here. When you observe your images from here, you will be able to see only 3. One, in fact, you will be able to see this. Okay, when you see from here, you will be able to see this. And as I told you that one image will be found behind the set of mirrors. So this is how you draw the two important diagrams, children. And please practice these two diagrams. That is when the mirrors are placed parallel to each other, the number of images formed are infinite. And when they are placed perpendicular to each other, the number of images formed are 3. Okay, and very quickly I will discuss the uses of plane mirror with you, children. A plane mirror is used in our day-to-day life as a looking mirror in which we observe ourselves every day. And then after that it is also used by the opticians. When you go for an eye checkup, the optician makes you sit in front of, there is a plane mirror behind you. Okay, there is a plane mirror behind you. Or maybe what does the optician do is, there's a plane mirror, he makes you sit there, and he uses alphabets he places in front of you in different sizes, and then he tells you to read. He tells you to read those alphabets, and according to that the reflection of the alphabets falls on the plane mirror and you are able to read them. Then it is also used in a barber's shop. When you go for a haircut or you go to the barber's shop, he places mirrors on the different walls so as to get multiple images, so that you can see. He places a mirror behind on sideways so you can have a look at what type of haircut do you want. Then it is also used in big showrooms. Okay, on stages. On a stage, the backdrop is a huge plane mirror, so that while a person is performing the steps, it adds to the beauty and the grace of the dance. Then it is also used in a solar cooker. Solar cooker is a device. It's like a box. When you open it, there is a plane mirror here so that the sun rays focus on it, and they get reflected inside, and that is absorbed by the food which is kept there, and it is used to, actually it's used to focus and reflect the solar rays so as to help the food to get cooked. And finally it is used in a periscope and a kaleidoscope. I would like to, I am erasing this, I want to tell you about a little bit about a periscope and a kaleidoscope, children. You know, a periscope is a device which it looks like this. It's like a Z. You know, it's like a Z. You have a plane mirror here and you have a plane mirror here. And the plane mirrors, there are two plane mirrors and they are placed at an angle of 45 degrees each. 45 degrees each. And a kaleidoscope is a toy. It has three plane mirrors. It has three plane mirrors placed at an angle of 60 degrees each. You know, this is a kind of a toy. You rotate it, you put some bangles. There are two plane mirrors and the third one down, and they join the plane mirrors and they put some bangles. It's like a box. You turn it and multiple images are formed. Okay, multiple images. Actually, if you calculate, it is 360 upon 60, and that is 6 images. But exactly, if you go to see, I told you it will be n minus 1. That is the number of images will be 5. Okay, 5 images formed inside gives a beautiful pattern, and it's a toy. While in this case, it is 360 upon 45, and then you see how much does it work out to, okay, and calculate. And therefore, what happens here, you know, the rays of light enter, this is a periscope, and it gets reflected from the first mirror, and finally it gets reflected from the second one, and it emerges out and a person is able to see. This is used in submarines. It is used in submarines. It is used by the people, the soldiers who are sitting inside the bunkers. They place, if there is an enemy activity going on outside and it's very dangerous. So what they do, they place a periscope and they observe it from below, from here, sitting inside the bunker, they are able to see the enemy activity. Similarly, in a submarine, on the surface of the water, it rotates 360 and has a view of what is happening on the surface of the water. So this is a very useful device. This is called the periscope. Okay, children, and this is known as the kaleidoscope. It's known as the kaleidoscope. Both of them use the plane mirrors. But here you should know that here the plane mirrors are placed at an angle of 60. 3 plane mirrors, here 2 plane mirrors at an angle of 45. So children, now with this I end the topic of plane mirrors. Now my next topic will be mirrors, but spherical mirrors, not plane mirrors. I would like to show you, children, actually I wanted to have an activity, but that I will keep for the next class. You can see I have one plane mirror here. This is a plane mirror. This is I have all 3 types of mirrors with me here. Okay, one is a plane mirror. This is I can see my image, it is enlarged here. So the enlarged image is a concave. This is a concave mirror, children. Okay, this is what a convex mirror looks like. This is a convex. Here the image formed is smaller in size, very small. And this is a plane mirror, that is, it is of the same size as the object. So I will be discussing about these 3 types of mirrors in the next class, children. Before that, I wanted to focus on the 2 main diagrams which I did today. And of course, you go through the list of the uses of the plane mirror, and we will discuss about spherical mirrors, and I will also show it to you, and I will also draw the ray diagrams for you in the next class. Thank you, children.